Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 5, Easter eggs, hidden clues, recaps, and news. A brand new segment we're going to do. I know lately we've been doing the recap, so we want to add a little bit more to it because a few years back, I don't know if you guys have been watching that long, some of the best videos we did and some of the most engaging videos we did had some Easter eggs, and I'm kind of like Sherlock Holmes of the Walking Dead field. I like to kind of dig down and find out if something means something. And I've actually been doing a little bit of research behind the scenes, so I'll jump into that in 1 second. Before we get started, how about a special shout out to the Patreon Army? Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. You can see them up on the screen. And we're going to walk through tonight's episode. But seaweed, something I want you to think about. Yes, there is a method to the madness. We will talk about seaweed in a little bit, what it could mean for the story. But let's start it out. How many people really liked the episode, had a great time, even though the spoilers were out there? I gave this a 10. I thought it was absolutely incredible. In fact, the last 3 episodes I've given 10s. And the kitties are excellent. Thanks for asking. My 3 Gs, Gushy Gushy, yeah, they're it's Gabe got stuck in a vase today. I don't know. This is not Freestyle Friday. There's a whole lot of people tuning in to talk about The Walking Dead, Easter eggs, hidden clues, recaps, and news. And yes, Gabe got stuck in a vase, and yeah, the vase got completely shattered. He's okay, but that's what he does. It's a wild man. All right, let's recap a little bit, and keep in mind as we do this, we're going to talk a little bit about some of tonight's segment is just going to be straight recap, and then we'll get to different areas, and then we're going to talk about a little bit deeper meaning, what it could, whether it's a callback, whether it's foreshadowing, and then we're going to drive straight into some of the hidden clues as well. So we start out this episode. We got Kelly's having the issue. She's phasing in and out. There were a couple nice callbacks in this scene if you guys are looking for hidden clues. And you know what? We're going to give away some kills coins tonight, too, if you guys can help me out. So the first thing is we see Kelly sort of, she's going through the loss of hearing. But she does manage to get that slingshot ready, kills the boar. Now, what's interesting about that is the boar's making noise the whole time, and she can't hear any of it. But as soon as she does, you hear that loud noise, and then the walkers are right behind her. And we saw that a couple episodes earlier, so let's give away a kills coin. First kills coin of the week. The walkers attacked the boar. And what was the scene that we saw just a couple episodes ago that was very similar to this, that shows a little bit of the challenges to the hunting grounds? Gushy Gushy, thank you so much. Appreciate that super chat. Absolutely, man. Love it. We're going to give away some coins tonight. Carol and the deer, exactly. Several people got it. I'm going with Carol and the deer. First person to get it, Jacoby Bollmeyer. Don't worry, everybody. We'll give away more kills coins tonight. Everybody can't win every time. I know a lot of people are going to be like, I typed something first. I started typing deer. All right, Jacoby, thank you so much. You're on the board. And if you guys don't know what kills coins are, you'll be able to use them. You'll be able to use them in our Freestyle Friday. So we're going to walk through a little bit. We also got the injury, and I mentioned this in an earlier stream as well. Kelly, she falls down, she rolls. We think initially, is she surrounded by walkers? She's surrounded by whispers. I thought that was also a similar callback, as I mentioned in an earlier stream, to Rosita's scene when they first met the whispers. So you've got the deer that Carol killed, and you got Kelly killing a boar, and then you also got the she's a little bit dazed, she's a little bit out of it, and kind of flashbacks of the Rosita scene. All right, now we got this storyline just had a ton of nice little hidden gems and comments and things along the line. So certainly chime in when you guys catch a couple of these. Negan and Brandon. So Negan and Brandon really was the theme of the entire episode. And I think it was kind of like that was the theme and everything else was sort of side stories around that theme. So we see Negan kind of washing his face off with water. And then, Brandon's there holding a knife like almost as if he's going to take him back. And he just starts out with that whole creepy, he's like, the look on your face. And, everything's just sort of, he's trying to be a miniature version of Negan. So that is the Easter egg in itself, is he's trying to piece all the stories he heard about the Saviors, and even says, I am Negan, but he wants to just emulate him so bad. Just messing with you. And then Negan gets kind of that sneaky smile. I can't describe it, and we haven't seen it in a while, but you certainly, when you see that look on his face, like he's up to something. Just doesn't, at the point he doesn't know how twisted and how, I guess, psychotic that Brandon really is. So we get back to Hilltop. Hilltop, I found this interesting more after the fact, is Eleanor Matsuura says, when they ask her about her being a leader, and she says, no, she's just doing whatever she needs to do. I found that interesting because I was seeing her as the leader and as, I guess, in competition to Maggie, because everybody's sort of gravitating to her. But the way she's just sort of brushed it off immediately on Talking Dead, I found it, I have no reason not to believe her. But what I saw in the episode before her interview was she was taking charge. Eugene, Alden even says, Eugene has found a way to use every part of the tree without wasting anything. And Eugene, of course, is happy to recapitulate. And then Alden is asking Yumiko for advice. Earl is basically trying to push her, like, we're just going to sit here. Everybody's putting the pressure on her. And she's feeling guilty about not going out there, you can tell. Ecom super chatting it. Been 1 full year since Rick's last episode. Hats off to Angela Kang, cast crew for quality Walking Dead material. I absolutely love it. And, I don't want to go too far into that can of worms, because we've had some pretty spirited debates on whether or not the show needs Rick Grimes. And anytime I even ask the question, it just becomes this polarizing topic of, yes, we need it. And then we always ask the question and say, yeah, but you guys are giving this show like 10, 10, 10. We're giving it some of the highest rated scores since I've been doing commentary on The Walking Dead. So I got to tell you, if you guys think all the other actors on the show are absolutely killing it and Angela Kang is doing an amazing job, type it in chat right now or give this video a thumbs up. Something just to show everybody in the world that the show is phenomenal and it's not just about week-to-week ratings. It is... ratings will return in my mind. Absolutely. There's a little bit of a stigma around the show. Some of the longtime people, they're growing tired of it. But I certainly think that word-of-mouth advertising is a big, big deal. And the more people that are out there saying, hey, you got to go check out The Walking Dead this season. It is better than it's ever been. It is ramping up. New viewers are going to come, and the old viewers are going to come back. Just my thought. And if they don't, that's fine. More for the rest of us. We'll have a great time talking about the show with or without them. But thank you for that, Ecom. I think that's a great comment. And as long as Rick remains in the Walking Dead universe and we know he's out there somewhere, I still think it helps fuel the TV show. I feel like they're just all connected, and keeping him alive was the best thing they ever did. Now, we'll see. We'll see how good the movie is. I hope the movie is great. I know many say, hey, Kills, the movie's going to be great, but we don't know. We don't know until we actually watch it. That's just our kind of fandom, coming out. But I do feel like they're going to do a good job. All right, let's go through a little bit more of this recap. So, as we said, everyone is treating Yumi as the leader. And then Yumi tells Magna someone stole a barrel of fish and some medical supplies. This is probably one of the weirdest, biggest, most complicated Easter eggs that you're ever going to find. Because it has Magna ignoring Yumi, listening to a song by Beta's character when he's a country music star, and the song that he's singing is a song by Emily Kinney, who was Beth on The Walking Dead. So hopefully I got all that right. Like, she has a song. The song is being performed by Beta, the country star, before he became Beta. I mean, you can't get more crazy than that. That's like, what is that? That's like Easter egg inside of Easter egg. That's like, actually, you know what that is? That's like a plastic Easter egg with another plastic Easter egg inside with money inside it. Anybody ever get that on Easter? So, yeah, that's mind-blowing. That's craziness. Now, many of you know I'm not a huge country music fan, but wouldn't you have to say that Beta is probably going to be the biggest country music singer in the history of country music? Like, normally, I'm going to mess up some of the names here. Tim McGraw, Tug McGraw, Garth, they're usually average-sized people. What is Beta? Like 6'7", 6'8", singing country music? That is a towering country music dude. But I certainly think he's not just a country music singer on here. He was like a superstar country music singer. They're going to make him like larger than life. All right, so that was I think they really did an awesome job. You know how it's like there's some psychology within some psychology this season on The Walking Dead? Now we got Easter eggs within Easter eggs. Great job, Angela Kang, and kind of keeping us very interested in some of the side stories. So we get the Ezekiel, Daryl, Siddiq. What I found interesting about Siddiq and Daryl driving up, Ezekiel and Daryl are totally cool. I mean, they, slap each other five. Siddiq's the same way. Very cordial conversation. Just two men who have varying interest in the same woman. And almost feel like, I'm sorry, I think, I'm not going to say that Carol is becoming like an anchor to Daryl, but did anybody else feel that like Carol's gotten a little bit crazy lately and Daryl's just ready to hand her back off to Ezekiel? I'm sorry. I'm just being brutally honest right now. They had the conversation, and then Daryl just kind of says, hey, you ain't going to ask about Carol? And he's like, nope. It's like, I felt like Ezekiel was just saying, look, that's your problem now. You deal with her. She's seeing things. She's out there. You handle that. So no, in all seriousness, I want to have a little fun with that. I love that exchange. And I like the exchange because Ezekiel still has feelings for Carol. You know that Daryl is always going to be that protective best friend. And we find out why Ezekiel doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to engage. He doesn't know how to talk to her. He's got news that he doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for him. Still got the scarf. He's still coughing. I think obviously that's been a hidden clue for a couple of weeks. So we could say that's an Easter egg or that's a hidden clue. It is finally unveiled a little bit later on with the thyroid cancer. But Ezekiel just walks away. Great exchange between them. And, Ezekiel did manage to get Siddiq and asked Siddiq if he would stay a little bit longer. So right shortly after that, Connie wants to find out where's Kelly. I kind of felt I'm not saying it's all recycled, but that had a when Henry left vibe. And it was initially Henry left, and it was Daryl going to find Henry, and then Connie writing the note to Daryl, and then Connie went with Daryl. So this time it's Kelly writing the note, and then of course Daryl's returning the favor. So I found it kind of cool that when somebody's lost and there's a mission, it's always going to be Connie and Daryl. Like, they're the group's going to go out and find them. Then we get back to Negan and Brandon. So as I said, I don't know the tune, but I'm pretty certain if I know the history of The Walking Dead and they're always up to something, I only saw it twice. But I would like to find out the tune that Brandon is whistling. And if anybody wants like a homework assignment, I don't think the first time Brandon's whistling, it is completely random. Because he's not doing the typical. He's not doing the eerie whistle. It's more of an upbeat whistle. And I couldn't make out what he's trying to whistle, but I'm sure there's some hidden logic behind what that is. That's kind of an Easter egg that we haven't quite cracked yet. One of the best lines I thought in the entire episode was, and we finally got to see a flash of old funny Negan. And once again, I'm going to say, I mentioned this in a previous stream, the actor that played Brandon did an incredible job. Absolutely incredible. Killed it. But he did say, build a new sanctuary. How badass was that place? Then Rick Grimes comes along, kills our parents, and takes everyone to Alexandria. How hypocritical is that? Negan, in classic fashion, says, I can't argue that. That ain't bullshit. So it was his way of agreeing and always showing that him and Rick had different philosophical methods of doing what they were going to do. And he did it in such a lighthearted way of showing that it's always going to be kind of Rick versus Negan. Absolutely loved the way Negan agreed with Brandon without coming out and saying, I agree with you. Very subtle, but effective. Brandon started to remind us, and this is probably the Negan storyline and the Easter eggs and the hidden clues. There were references to Lucille, but the writers reminded us of who Negan is. And I want you guys to be careful, because we hated him, and then we revived him and redeemed him, and now we like him, and the writers are gradually starting to plant a few seeds, and they did it through Brandon. I mean, listen to what he said. You can take anyone's shit, burn their faces, bashing heads in. So he's talking about all this cool stuff that Negan did in his mind, and Negan stops him and says, that was punishment. That's not just a random way of going around acting. So Negan had to justify his own actions. And shortly after Negan said that's punishment, Brandon comes back and says, I heard you cut his kid's hand off. You shot Carl Grimes. And that's when he went too far. Absolutely hit a nerve. I never did that. Carl was, and he didn't want to play his hand. But how many people here would like to finish that sentence for Negan or would like to hear what he was going to say? He said, Carl was, and he paused and said, I would never kill a kid. Do you think he was going to say Carl was a kid? I don't think so. I think he was going to say Carl was, first person that gets it, give it to me right now. Oh, there it is. Whoa. There it is. Julia Muse, slightly ahead of the Walking Dead nerd. Carl was the future is what he wanted to say, but saying that would have, he would have lost cool points with Brandon. So think about this. He didn't know how creepy Brandon was going to be. He was performing for an audience. It's been a long time since Negan had an audience. But if he would have said Carl was the future, then Brandon's going to be like, whoa, you mean all that? You're not cool at all. What am I doing here? Why am I here with you? And I think he wanted to lead him on a little bit. Like he was enjoying the performance to a degree. But there needed to be a tone it down button. Brandon says we're both Negan. Negan gets attacked by the walker. Somebody asked this earlier. And I'll throw this out there. This could be an Easter egg or a hidden clue. The barbed wire. And taking the head off the walker. Is that potentially what we're going to see with Alpha? Or, because we saw Negan take the walker's head off, is that going to be the visual and now they'll give the kill to someone else? I want to get your thoughts on this video. And certainly stomped the head afterwards. It did seem like some strong foreshadowing. Well, once again, and here's the Easter egg with that. He did it with barbed wire. Barbed wire's on the bat. Barbed wire also is the barrier. And later on, we see him walk past that same barbed wire to get into Whisper territory. So, a lot of good plays there. And I think indirectly it shows the similarities. To one, barbed wire is a tool. And to the other one, it's a barrier. It's a good point. Najee said he had a hard time doing the beheading with the barbed wire. Might be harder on a less decayed body. The other thing is, it could also serve as a reminder, or maybe Negan's a quick study. Gets in a fight with Alpha, barbed wire might not be the best way to go. Maybe he'll decide to use something else because he wasn't as successful. I'd love to see one of those, kind of like Pulp Fiction, when Bruce Willis is like picking up all the weapons and he's trying to figure out which one to use to go back in and take out the motorcycle guy. I mean, I think that would be it. I don't think they'll go slapstick humor with it. But, hey, if Negan picks up the barbed wire and throws it down and then has a katana, You know where I'm going with that, right, Jack? It'd be a great way to honor Pulp Fiction. Zed. That's right. Zed is dead. All right. Shortly after that, Negan's like, thanks for the help. Hey, I was wrapping your gift. And then he gives him the new Lucille 2.0 and the leather jacket. I think the real hidden clue here with Lucille is, once again, the audience has to be desensitized toward it. They've got to see it again in action. But number two, I think it is a knockoff version of Lucille that is probably going to break when Negan goes to use it. I don't think the real Lucille is going to break. I think this one is going to break when he goes to hit Beta, or maybe even before then. The only question I have is whether or not Negan and Beta are actually going to fight this week. And if they don't fight, are the Whisperers going to let him keep the bat? Right, Ron? Just like the knife. Fake Lucille. Yeah, the knife breaking, I think, was a good foreshadowing, too. So, if the barbed wire is to kind of get us thinking about Negan taking off Alpha's head, maybe the broken knife later on is to get us thinking about the broken Lucille. Good call out. A lot of good. Hey, even if they're not intended Easter eggs, they're still Easter eggs. Aaron practicing on the bridge. I asked this question last night, and I was a little confused in the beginning because there are two spikes with rocks around them. So at first I was thinking, all right, wait a minute. Maybe that's a way to honor the people that died from Alexandria. And I'm thinking like, no, that's dumb. There's no way that's going to be like their tombstone. That's going to be like a reminder of how evil Alpha. So quickly I had to erase that. Like, no. This is Alpha marking the bridge that you don't cross. So the purpose of that is, Aaron, stay on your side of the bridge so you can't go to the other side. It's a new border. Absolutely. Not built to pay any sort of homage to the people that are fallen. And that's why it's not really a big deal for Aaron didn't cross the bridge, and when he looked over, Gamma was on her side of the territory. But isn't it sadly ironic that the Whisperers are upstream? I mean, think about this for a second. It's like they can do whatever they want to your water because they're upstream. If the Alexandrians were upstream, then they could block their water. So all these things are just bad examples of how boxed in they are. Spiking the water, absolutely. They were spiking it with water gut or walker guts. And blocking the flow of water. I mean, they could use rocks, but they want to use walker bodies. The Gamma Aaron scene, really quick. No words there. Caesar, she takes off once she hears some stuff. The Negan and Brandon scene, I found it delightfully tacky that the two of them were evaluating the attractiveness or the hotness of walkers. And it's weird how the writers are really going after these taboo topics or these topics that people discuss. I mean, that's what was so strange about it. And I'm sure in streams at some point, people brought up like, hey, that's the best looking walker I've ever seen. And they're like twisted things that people talk about. And to see Negan and Brandon making a joke, one, it showed that Brandon's doing everything he can to fit in and try to be funny, and Negan reciprocates it. Says, no, I can't remember that we ever talked about the hotness. Besides, she's a 3. Just very... Negan's ramping up. He's ramping up his speed in comebacks. That conversation is cut short because Negan goes to the rescue. Let me ask this question. Would a non-redeemed Negan have rushed into action the same way that he did? I'm not saying that Negan would kill women or that Negan would kill kids, because we know that's not to be the case. But I think the old Negan would have been indifferent. And Derek, here's the thing. Even if it was a child, I don't know that Negan would have rushed into action. I mean, I don't think he would kill a kid, but he also doesn't seem like he would be the first person to outrun you to get to help. He would be of the mindset like, oh, well, there's a parent with their, some responsibility. I see Roxanne, that's what I think. I don't think he would have risked his life at a certain point. But some of that depends on who Negan is to you, right? Daryl and Connie were interesting as well. Oh, really quickly though. So, as we said, one more Easter egg here before we got to that. The Negan scene, he did go to the bus, broke the knife, and maybe the second best line was Brandon. Damn, classic Negan. How many people, when you saw Negan do that, like the first thing that went through your mind was what Brandon said? I love the fact that he was in tune with the audience. They actually gave him all of our lines. Damn, classic Negan. Because I know that's what I was thinking. He's pounding his walker's head in the door. Natalie, did anybody see the extended Aaron Gamma scene on the bridge? He gives her medicine and she gives it back. The leftover bandage she didn't use. Natalie, that was actually the third time. He saw her the first time. The second time he gave her the bandage. And the third time was at the end when she returned it. And Roxanne, I agree. I think he's a different person. I don't think he's a person that can't drift back. I think if enough of society abuses him or affects him, I certainly think that he can. I don't think he'll ever be what he was before. I don't think he's going to have lineups and people and take half of everybody's stuff. but I think he is going to be a little more hesitant to turn his back and to trust people. Yeah, I agree with that too, Najee. And we're going to touch on that tomorrow night. There's going to be a lot of topic around Gamma and Aaron, the back and forth, what they mean to their respective groups. So I'm going to gloss over a little bit of that tonight because we are really, really going to dig in to the meetings, the strategies, how we feel about Aaron, how we feel about Gamma. I see some similarities between both, and I really don't know which one I trust. Let's talk a little bit about the Daryl Connie. Connie's blaming herself. Daryl certainly is. He's out there. He's always going to risk his life for almost anybody. I mean, that's just who Daryl is. No hesitation of going out there trying to find Kelly. And as soon as he sees Connie's upset, immediately comes back with a Merle story. And it's lighthearted. It's told in a very unique way, but the moral of the story is it's all about the beer. You don't leave the beer in the boat. So Daryl kind of dropped the ball with that one, but got a smile out of Connie, and I thought it's a great strategy. Take her mind off of it. And Christmas Girl, I think to a degree, it's relating to her. Maybe even in the bigger picture. Look, they're out there. They're surrounded by danger. Connie needs to be focused. She needs to be, anything can sneak up on you. And if she's walking around blaming herself, she's not going to be sharp. Ben Stevenson, can you imagine who Negan would be right now if their ammo worked that day in the field? Deep thought. Oh, boy. So I guess the question has been, if it weren't for Eugene, who would Negan be right now? I do love it. I love going back and thinking about one or two instances that totally changed the history of The Walking Dead. You know what? Just for fun, we should do a fun stream. Let's take a 30-second break, everybody. And if you guys put your deepest thought from the history of The Walking Dead, one instance that you can think of that would totally change the direction of The Walking Dead, either for the better or for the worst. Let me get some of your comments in here. I want to see some of these. I think this will be a little bit of fun. We're going to add this to like a Freestyle Friday topic. Terminus lineup. What if Lori never died? Morgan not meeting Rick. Oh, great. Dead on Leprechaun. Why no walkers on a leash trick like you know what? That's true. Worked for Michonne for a long time. I think Dead on Leprechaun, we come up with our own stream about inventions or ways that we could survive a zombie apocalypse. Well, I think the Shane is a bigger what if, because that's not really like an event. Shane was going nuts. Shane was losing it. I mean, for me, it's more of what if they wouldn't have found the prison? Or what if they wouldn't have been recruited? Or what if Beth was never captured? And that would set like a whole different chain of events. You know, they probably would have never made it to Virginia. And then they'd be somewhere on the outskirts of Atlanta still. What if that bullet that shot Carl in the eye would have been like an inch over to the right? Think about that. And see, that's the type of event that if Carl would have died from that gunshot, how many other things would have completely changed? That's like a whole stream in itself. All right, so is this going to be a thing? You guys want to do a what if Walking Dead? If we can get half the people in the stream to say yes, then we'll do one. And we'll just pose several what if questions during the stream. There you go. See, that's how content becomes stuff. All right, looks like everybody here wants to do a what if. All right, so we're going to pick a night. We're going to do a what if Walking Dead. And I think what we'll do is we'll do a survey on our Facebook fan page. Kel, let's see if Kel will be nice enough to set that up. Kel, can we add a survey to the Facebook fan page and find out what if topics people want to talk about, and then we'll just add some randomly as well. Ben Stevenson, what if Glenn is still under that dumpster? He would have starved to death eventually. All right. Brand new stream. And what we'll do is we'll mix it up. All right, I love it. I love the idea. What if Walking Dead? Let me jump around to a couple more of these Easter eggs and a couple more of these topics, because we're not going to get through the entire episode tonight. Zeke and Siddiq. All right. This was one of the bigger Easter eggs, and it's probably a good one for us to close the night on, because I think we got some good stuff here. There were a few buzzwords used here. So we know that Siddiq wants to check him out. Zeke's still coughing. And Siddiq says the smoke inhalation from the fire might have triggered it. Now, I'm doing a little bit of investigative research, because I think there's some irony in all of this. Ezekiel has thyroid cancer. A satellite falls in the woods and sets the woods on fire. Stick with me. I mean, this is going to be full circle here. And I don't know how this works yet, but I promise you I'm going to do some research. So the satellite goes through the atmosphere. The satellite has some radioactive properties, but causes a fire. The fire causes smoke, which Ezekiel breathes in, which causes his thyroid to grow extremely large because of the smoke inhalation. All right, so it's sped up the whole process. Now, Ezekiel says something very interesting about medical care, and then Siddiq says something interesting. And it's almost as if they self-medicated. Ezekiel says, I know what it is. My grandma, my father had it. They fought it and won. Thyroid cancer had a 98% success rate of being cured. But that was, he said different voodoo, different witchcraft back then. Basically saying you had ways to treat it. Chemotherapy, there's surgery. But then he brought up something else. What is it that Siddiq said was a method of curing thyroid cancer? First person that gives me the correct answer here. Not hypnosis. Ezekiel. Nope, that was Siddiq. Ezekiel said there was another method of curing it back then. Nope, not currently. There you go. Christmas Girl. First person to get it. Kel, can you add Christmas Girl? Radioactive iodine. Hang on. We got a couple different topics working. This is why I said it's important. Remember, Ezekiel spitting out various ways that it could be cured. And they all seem kind of dead end. Radioactive iodine. Then they gloss over that, and then Siddiq says acupuncture, hypnosis. I've been struggling ever since. So Siddiq talks about hypnosis for his own condition. And I think the hypnosis is a hidden clue to find out the truth of what happened in that barn. But I've been doing a little research on iodine. You guys know we have an ocean side, right? And in order to extract iodine, you can use seaweed. Now, I haven't got to the point where obviously iodine is in the ocean and it's in seaweed. But how do you make radioactive iodine? And look, I got to be careful here because I don't want, the YouTube police to be like, oh, what are they doing in that stream? But if it's possible to use anything that is radioactive, whether it's the satellite. Look, I know radiation can cause cancer, but if there's a way to use the radioactivity from the satellite in order to charge the iodine, and don't quote me on this because I'm not a scientist, but if there's somebody that can do it, it's Eugene. So just food for thought. We got something that's radioactive. We got an ocean side. We got seaweed. If Eugene can come up with a way to extract iodine and then make that iodine radioactive, possibly there's a cure for Ezekiel. I just thought it was interesting that he threw those things out there as just speaking out loud. So you make radioactive iodine, you put it in their blood, and it's a very high success rate. Now, if I'm Ezekiel, any chance of surviving is better than dying. So even if you come to me and say, look, it's 50-50, I'm going to say, charge that iodine up, put it in my bloodstream, let's give it a shot. Maybe he makes it. But I know some people have talked about the satellite, and it just didn't make sense to me how you could do it until he kind of used that trigger word. Also, during the same scene, though, I think it is equally as important that Siddiq mentioned acupuncture and hypnosis, But I really think the hypnosis is going to be Dante is probably going to put him under, and then that's where we get the flashbacks, and that's where we're going to get the Rosita baby crying, finding out what she's going to find out. Now, that would be incredible. Hippo accidentally makes a cure for the Walker virus. I've said this all along. If you don't have at least one person doing some research on what caused all this, what's the point of living in a zombie apocalypse if there's not at least a scientist somewhere? Maybe it's in Commonwealth. Maybe it's going to be on Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know. You don't have to find a cure, but curiosity alone should make you want to know more about the situation. Otherwise, it's Milton did try. But we need more Miltons. Somebody has to know something. And, we're about halfway through the episode, and I think we're at a good spot. We're about 51 minutes in. And I'm gonna kind of leave it with the Ezekiel and Siddiq conversation, because tomorrow night, the early stream, we're really going to dig into the Aaron Gamma psychology, the back and forth between the two of them. And then we're going to pick up right where we left off, which is going to be back to the Negan and Brandon, and probably going to get into a little bit of nut tapping tomorrow. So hopefully you guys are down. I mean, is there any better stream on a Tuesday night? The psychology of two potential traitors, and then transition right into nut tapping. I think it's going to be a perfect night. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. We got a huge, huge group. We're going to be doing double shots all week. If you guys are along for the ride, if you guys are going to listen to the playbacks or be here live, do me a favor. Hit that like button, because there's a whole lot of new people watching the streams for the first time. A lot of people coming back to the show. I've seen some faces that said, hey, I'll never watch the show again, and here they are watching the show again. And many of you started out in the background, right? How many people, just a real quick show of hands, how many people watched our live streams at least a few times before you felt like typing anything and participating and hanging out with the group? I mean, be honest. Maybe 2 streams, maybe 3 streams, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is an awesome group of people. I'm just going to speak up and get involved. All right, believe it or not, there are literally hundreds of people watching the streams and watching the playback that are doing exactly that. And what we want to do is we want to get all those people comfortable and talking and hanging out with us, because their theories, their ideas, their predictions just add a whole brand new element of what we try to do with getting to the bottom of these things and getting some of the theories. And, whether it's a radioactive iodine cure, whatever the case may be, I mean, that's kind of what we do. So just want to let everybody know you guys are welcome. Get involved in the chat. Get involved in the stream. This channel is made up of all of you. So appreciate each and every one of you. Let me give a couple shout-outs. I want to give a shout-out to the Patreon Army, top left-hand corner. Shout-out to the PDL sponsors. They're bringing us that Freestyle Friday Play Dead Live. We're having a lot of fun with that. If you guys don't know what that is, show up on Friday nights. Get involved in the game. It's Walking Dead mixed with Dungeons & Dragons, mixed with Warcraft. It's all kind of elements, and it's our own unique spin on it where you guys are making decisions. Thank you so much. See those PDL? That's the PDL emoji. Brand new logo up there. There's also some gear down below. All right. Ben Stevenson is officially dubbing tomorrow Nut Tap Tuesday. You know what? I ain't going to argue that. It's not bullshit. So thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. And we created a brand new stream tonight. We will be adding that to one of our weeknights. It's going to be called What If Walking Dead. So thank you. You guys created a brand new show. I'm looking forward to doing that. I think it's going to be very interactive. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll work on some behind-the-scenes topics, and Kel will be putting a poll on our Facebook fan page. And I think what we'll do is we'll start out with a couple, and it'll be kind of like freestyle, right? we'll just either super chat it, or I'll come up with a topic, or you can use a Kills coin, and we'll say, all right, Julia Muse, use your Kills coin, and then she'll come up with a what if topic. So it'll be fast paced. It'll be, this has some potential. Want to give a shout out to all the super chatters, the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, and the biggest shout I can possibly give to all of you. And do me a favor. Everybody type 999. I got like 60 more seconds. And I want to give as many individual shout-outs as I possibly can. So if you guys fill up the screen right now, I'm going to try. If I miss you, sorry, I'll catch you in a previous, I'll catch you in a future stream. I want to say what's up to Laura Butler, also Wilson, Tommy Mambo McCandless, Angel Caloris, 1189 Paris, Gina Crockett, Debbie Feaster, Ron Burgundy Moore, Jack Carr, Sasha B., Jacoby Bollmeyer, thank you, Heather M., Reese Nevin, thank you, Hippo in the House, Catface Killer, Crystal Singer Chick Gore, Najee Watts, Tegan, Erica Willis, thank you. Rebecca Mendez, Roxanne Dunlap, Walking Dead Nerd, Matt Burkett, Newfield 12, thank you. Marsha Cooper, Mary Manhard, thank you. All these awesome people. Appreciate you guys jumping in here, watching our streams, participating. Julie King, thank you. Goucher, Heart of Nixie, Cody Woodard, Samantha Coombs, Ecom, thank you. Always a pleasure, my man. Patrick Ivers, Carl L., thank you. Appreciate you being here. Christine and Shane Meek. Diane Soto. Thanks, D-Train. Appreciate you being here as well. Diana C., thank you. And I'm probably going to miss a ton of people. If I missed you in a shout-out, Rebecca Briggs, thank you. I'll catch you guys in a future stream. Once again, appreciate everything that you guys do. Be here tomorrow night at 7:30 for our first of two. It'll be our double shots tomorrow. We've got some Aaron and Gamma, and then we got the extended recap of last week's episode. Absolutely incredible. I'll see you all tomorrow night. Have a good night. Peace.